Welcome to Wrestling with Heart, a podcast looking at pro wrestlers giving back to their community. Join me, Stanley Carr, as I interview wrestling's hottest names who use their platforms as entertainers to raise awareness and do community service. Hello and welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Heart. This is the show where we talk with professional wrestlers and professional wrestling personalities about their lives in and outside of the ring, as well as doing acts of charity work, community service, volunteering, and spreading positivity. We're always about the positive vibes here on the show, and with me today, I've got a very special guest. She is a former WWE Divas Champion, former AEW Women's World Champion. She's got a brand new book out. Going to talk about that and a whole lot more. I'm pleased to welcome the one and only Saraya Page. Welcome to Wrestling with Heart.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. I had the pleasure of meeting you a few years ago at a convention, and just want to say you couldn't have been nicer. You were just it was a very pleasant experience.
Good
to meet you. Let's talk about your childhood and upbringing. You're from Norwich, England, correct?
I am from Norwich. Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, you have a very interesting childhood. Tell me about it.
Oh my gosh, that's a loaded question. I don't know where to start. I grew up in a wrestling family, and yeah, just my life was just surrounded by wrestling as soon as they came out the womb, you know. But yeah, it was definitely eventful. It was definitely, I got to see a lot of things, you know, so at a very young age, I had to grow up really, really quickly, you know, so yeah, it's eventful.
Yeah, I mean, surrounded by wrestling all your life, did you have a favorite wrestler to watch as a kid?
Yeah, so first of all, my parents, I used to always be watching them, you know, but also American wrestling wise, I was obsessed with Lita. I was obsessed with Stone Cold, you know. I loved Bull Nakano, obviously, because my Scorpion Crosslock is just a little bit of a modified version of hers, you know, yeah, I mean, I loved wrestling. I would eat, breathe shit wrestling. Like that was just my life since I can remember, you know.
Yeah, I mean, once it's in your blood, it's in your blood. I mean,
exactly.
Going to so many shows. Talk to me about when you first started training, because it is just, when I've talked to people on the show, it's intense. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been training like in the ring because my mom and dad would hold like training schools and seminars and all that kind of stuff, right? So I was always like in the ring in some capacity. So I mean, the training is very difficult, and it does, you know, especially at a young age doing it, you know, and taking bumps like before you've even fully developed yet, you know, can have its issues later on down the line and stuff. Especially someone that has scoliosis. I have scoliosis and my spine is not straight. So yeah, so I had to adjust accordingly to that. And yeah, just the training itself is intense.
Did you always want to be a wrestler? Did you fall into, like, when did you know you wanted to do this for a living?
So I've been wanting to do it I've been, again, surrounded by wrestling my whole life. I tried to fight against it when I was like 13 years old. I tried to I try to rebel in a way and be like, no, like I'm going to be a vet or something, you know, but I love the business and like, I couldn't fight it, you know, and eventually I started getting in the ring at 13 years old, like professionally. And after that first match, I was just like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I'm going to be a WWE diva. Like that's the dream. And I'm not going to stop until I get there, you know?
13, that is so young. I
Yeah,
mean, it had to have been terrifying, you know, when you're surrounded by a bunch of people that are older, you know.
actually, no, I was so used to being around wrestlers again my whole life. You know, I was in the dressing rooms, I was on the road, I was like, you know, with my parents. That's all I knew. So I didn't know anything else. So like it was it was more terrifying when I first came over to WWE, but like when I'm at home and wrestling, no, it felt like second nature to me.
Do you recall like any drills and any pieces of advice that you got from your parents or anybody that you worked with when you started out learning how to wrestle?
You know, Oh, like that was a piece of advice. It was so silly though. It's nothing to do with wrestling, but it's to do with the traveling. My dad was like, "You never fall asleep on the drive," and like his like it's a wrestling etiquette back then that if there's like a designated driver, you stay awake with them the whole time. You know. So anytime that I would fall asleep on a journey, my dad would be like, "Saraya J," like screaming it in my ear, like joking around, but he was like, "You have to stay awake." So yeah, just like again a lot of it was just like second nature. Like there was just like I just rolled with the punches back then, but all that kind of advice started like once I got to WWE.
Okay. Well, training, especially, it is intense, like the workouts and everything, but you seem like you've got it, put all the fundamentals together really quick because you're surrounded by your family and
Yep.
close friends in the business. Talk to me about your first few matches. I mean, were you nervous? Were you happy? Talk to me about those times.
um yeah, I was terrified. I mean, I was very young, but I was being taken care of from my brother. He was in there doing like the pink Power Ranger, you know. He got in a mask to make sure I was comfortable. But yeah, yeah, I had the nerves. I feel like everybody that wrestles, even up to this point, has nerves. If you don't have that, then you know you're not in love with the business, you know, or if any job that you have, if you don't have nerves with it, you know, in the entertainment space, like, you know, maybe you're not in love with it as much as you want to be.
Yeah, you really have to show passion for what you do because if you don't, I mean, find something else. But you took to it, you got your training, you
Yep.
start working across Europe. Tell me
Yep.
about when you start wrestling for all these different promotions before WWE. What was that like?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I was traveling by myself by the time I was 14 years old, and I was going to Norway, I was going to Turkey, I was going everywhere. Like, and so luckily my parents like were comfortable enough to let me go out on the road by myself at such a young age, you know. And I loved it. I loved it. Every week my dad would be like, you know, where are you going this weekend? And I'd be like, I'm going to Spain, you know, like it's I was always on the road somewhere, but I was so adamant that I was going to make it to the WWE that I did not want to give up, you know, and it was great. I didn't really have a childhood because I was just so focused on wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, once you have a dream and you stick to it, I mean, the sky's the limit. And you make it to WWE, you go through the tryouts. Tell me about that call that you got to start working in NXT,
So okay, so it wasn't NXT when it was FCW when I first went there, and like
FCW.
I it wasn't a call that I got. So basically, I did two tryouts with WWE. They do tours in the UK, and they do it twice a year, usually around April and then around November. Um, but yeah, I had these tryouts. The first one I didn't get in, unfortunately. The second one I did, and then I had to wait for my visa to get together, and it took about 6 months. And then, yeah, actually making that leap and flying over here to America, where I'm just a young 19-year-old girl, you know, it was terrifying. And yeah, I was terrified, and but at the same time, I knew this was a dream of mine, and I just kind of had to take that leap and you know, like yeah, I just had to believe in myself a little bit. And then I finally did it. And like, I'm so grateful that I was brave enough to do it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Divas Champion got the call to go to the main roster. You're working with AJ Lee, and the Bellas really
Yeah.
set the tone for what we know today with the women's revolution and the rise
Thank
of women's
you.
wrestling. That's got to
Thank
feel good, that you were, a part of that.
Yeah, it was. It was amazing to be like part of that community of women that kind of like, I mean, we started the revolution and it was amazing. Like, I'm so grateful that, you know, I could be one of the flag bearers, you know, of that time. So yeah, it's amazing. And, you know, everybody has their opinion about who started the revolution or not, but I'm just grateful that, you know, that some people think it was me too, you know. So it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, you were there for so many incredible moments. Tell me about some of the people that you got to work with over the years. Who have been some of your favorite opponents?
I mean, I've been grateful working with everybody, but I loved AJ because it felt like it was, you know, the the thing that lit the match for me to become a success was working with AJ, and then also with Emma, because with our NXT matches we had were like a big deal, back then. I love working with the Bellas. I love working with Tony Storm. Like, there's so many different people that I love working with. I'm just grateful that I got the opportunity to even be here.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing such an amazing group of women today that I just feel like are just doing really great things right now. I want to talk about the book that you just wrote, Hell in Boots, Clawing My Way Through Nine Lives. What made you decide to write the book and share your story?
Yeah, I've been asked that question a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And it's like a lot. I mean, there's just so much that goes into it. Like, I decided 2 years ago one day that it's important for me to get my story out there and not let anybody else continue to tell it and tell it wrong. So yeah, one day when me and the WWE parted ways, I decided that was the perfect time to kind of like fill the time too, and like, kind of put pen to paper. And yeah, I'm really grateful I did it. And now here we are. It's done.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased. Yeah.
Now, outside of wrestling, I know you've been involved with a lot of charity work, done a lot of charity stuff outside of the business. What are some things that you've done over the years to help out in your community?
So yeah, I actually do a lot more with animals and all that kind of stuff because they don't have a voice. So and also during Black Lives Matter too, like we did have like fundraising streams, and like I would match whatever we raised. So yeah, I do a lot of that. I do a lot of stuff with like the animal community and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, like I'm always pro like charity work, and I also not work, but I also I'm on the board of the National Domestic Violence Hotline. So being one of the board members there is extremely important to me, and I'm so grateful that I get to be a part of that community too. So like, yeah, I try to do as much as possible whenever I can, and like if I have the platform, why not use it for good?
Yeah, I mean, every little bit counts so much because you just don't know what people are going through. What is it about giving back to the community that gives you the most joy?
Um, I mean, being able to give back, like the thing that gives me joy is that I get to make people happy. That's all I care about. Like, and I always say you remember the way people make you feel. And if I can do a helping hand in a way where, I can either raise money or give them money or, like use my platform to publicize whatever they need publicized, like I will do it in a heartbeat. And I just want to make people happy. That's my main goal.
And you're definitely putting smiles on so many people's faces. Well, you just recently left AEW. What's next on the horizon?
So 2025, I'm trying to do more, try to get my feet wet in outside of wrestling, and I'm really excited about it. I feel like it's a challenge for me, and I'm all for challenges. So yeah, I'm really excited about what's going on. Of course, I have my podcast as well, Rule Breakers with Saraya, which is every Thursday, and so yeah, I kind of want to do more of that side of things, and I'm excited about where that's going. So yeah, just stay tuned.
Yeah, well, I wish you all the best, Saraya. Looking forward
Thank you.
to seeing you get back in the ring at some point. And
Thank you.
congratulations about the book.
Thanks.
Where can people find more about you on social media, how they can buy the book and plug in all your social media accounts?
Yeah, so it's Saraya across the board. Saraya on Twitter, Saraya on Instagram, Saraya on TikTok. I don't have any other social media. And then I have links in my bio. So if you want to get the book, if you want to look at the podcast, everything you need is linked to my social media.
All right. Well, thank you, Saraya, and you're
Thank
more than
you.
welcome to come back.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Wrestling with Heart. I hope you found this podcast to be informative and entertaining. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and look out for the next edition.